Hey guys, my name is Shivashankar Kamath. Welcome to Isha Vasya Divya Siddhi Academy. Every day your mind wakes up first and then your mind wakes you up. Your mind is like a blind man in the dark room looking for a black cat that isn't there. It receives the information only through five senses, but majorly through two senses. One, through eyes. You do seeing or observing things, and two, hearing or listening through ears. But your mind makes assumptions and applies filters on the received information based on your degree of concentration and already perceived prejudice. Hence, what we see and hear may not be the same as what we perceived in our mind. Therefore, we need to keep our mind clean and open to minimize the differences between what we perceive and what is reality there outside. All are right as per their views and thoughts. You communicate very well when the situations are in your favor. Communication is an integral part of career and life. We talk to people around us, we talk to ourselves called self-talks. In fact, we communicate every moment wherever we go on this planet. Whether you talk on stage, with teams, groups or your seniors, executives, managing teams, leading people, the messages that you want to deliver, etc. Right from the time you get up, you play different roles in different situations. You communicate. In all these situations, your communications can be smooth and seamless, or it can be demotivating, confusing, and devastating. It may build the relationships or it may break the relationships. It may allow you to grow further and further, or it may shrink you down and down. In this video, you will learn the importance of an effective communication, different aspects of communication skills, and how you can make it effective. Because once you learn and develop this art, it will start paying you back forever. These skills are very important in everyone's life. The earlier you learn, the better you will be positioned in your life. Unfortunately, our education system does not teach us these life skills. We have mental blocks such as I cannot do this, I cannot do that, etc. But in reality, all these are your self talks, your own inside movie, and you are the director of that movie, and you are the sole audience to that movie. Does it not sound crazy? Yes, it is. Can an introvert become good speaker? Communications and speaking abilities can be learned just like any other skills. You know, big open secret? Most of the successful people on this planet are introvert by nature. But when they are on stage, talking to the public gathering, to the teams or groups, they are able to effectively communicate and deliver what they wanted to. In this video, you will also learn how to build this skill as a muscle, which anyone can do, because nobody is born with effective communication skills on this earth. They all learned and developed after they were born. Stay tuned till the end of this video to learn more about it. Communication is a skill, not a talent. Do you know how to fly an aircraft? Mostly your answer will be no. Do you know how to drive a car? Probably your answer may be yes. How do you know driving a car? Your answer will be I learned driving. You don't know how to fly a plane because you never learned that skill. Similarly, communication is not a talent someone is born with. It's just a skill like any other skills one can learn and develop. Let's take an example to understand this better. In your life, you would have observed when some people enter the place, you feel like 1000 watts bulb intensity, and you are happy to spend any number of hours with them. Let's take another example wherein you are talking to a gentleman, neatly dressed, polished shoes, very confident and excellent in English and excellent personality. But still you don't want to continue spending time with him. Is he not an effective communicator? What is missing here? Another example. In your street, there are lots of shops with the same items you want to purchase, but still you prefer to go to only certain shops. Why? Let's take another example wherein you want to avoid talking to some people or you don't want to spend any time with them. In this case, why do you think you don't want to spend time with them? Like this, we can go on and on with lots of examples around us. Let's discuss these examples with sufficient details a little later in this video. Our life is a journey, and our body is the vehicle to achieve whatever we want to in our lives. We are social animals. If you closely observe and understand, we are all interconnected, directly or indirectly. Money may be a means of exchange. We need support of one another to survive or grow in our lives. We need to communicate with each other to help others, share our ideas, thoughts, plans, problems, emotions, feelings, etc. with other persons and vice versa. What is communication? Communication is an act of transferring information from one person to another or to a group and vice versa. Communication is done to produce greater understanding and support to each other. It is the activity or process of expressing your ideas and feelings or giving or taking instructions. We do it vocally, means through verbal exchanges, through written media like books, websites, and magazines. We communicate visually using graphs, charts, and maps, or non-verbally means body language, gestures, pitch of voice, and tone. All these are the means of communication and they play a vital role in our life. Remember, what you do repeatedly becomes your habit. Your repeated habit becomes your behavior, and over the time, your behavior becomes your character and then your personality. If you learn and develop these skills, you will see tremendous growth in your life. Communication is widely called as soft skills, but I think in reality it's a core skill because 90% of your success or achievements mainly depends on how you communicate and get heard in the crowd. You may be having tons of contents, but if you are not able to communicate or express and get heard, then it's not your asset. It is going to be a liability in your life. What are the key factors of an effective communication? Making an eye contact while you are talking or listening to someone. Your body language, your pitch of voice and its tonality. Being proactive means timeliness to communicate. What are the different ways to learn and develop communication skills? Read books, write down the learnings you have made, watch videos or movies, observe the situations, people, things, nature, and see what you can learn every moment. Listen to the audios. Your brain has tremendous capabilities to absorb information you provide. It's a tax-free God-given hard disk. Keep it clean and use it. There is a research made on human communications. What it says is, what we speak will have only 7% impact, means words are only 7% of our entire communication. Whereas the impact of body language, visuals and auditory is huge. Means your body posture, your pitch of voice and tonality have tremendous impact, influence and power in your communications. For example, in your workplace, you may get hundreds of new ideas, but if you are not able to express it, your potential is going to be wasted. Instead, if someone else comes and expresses well, then he will be heard and appreciated. He will grow fast in his life. In this context, nothing to feel bad about yourself because communications is a skill which can be learned and developed just like building a muscle. First, we have to remove our mental blocks like only few can learn and demonstrate it because it is not true. Unfortunately, our education system does not entirely focuses on developing communication skill. Nobody is born as a great communicator. Communication is a skill, not a talent. There is a myth that if you speak good English means you are an effective communicator. So some people believe that if you learn good English, you will become an effective communicator. The good news is, actually it is not true because English is a language to speak and communication is an art. So these are two different things. So even after learning to speak good English, your communications can be pathetic. Means when required, you will not be able to speak up because you have mastered the language but not the art of communications. Communications is not about demonstrating your English language proficiency by using heavy English words from dictionary. Art of communications can be learnt and developed in your mother tongue or in your native language, and you need not know English at all. Any communication therefore has four parts: the sender, the message, the channel of communication and the recipient. The sender encodes the message usually in a mixture of words and non-verbal communication. It is transmitted in some way, for example in speech or writing, and the recipient decodes it. there may be more than one recipient. When both the sender and the receiver perceive the meaning of communication almost in the same way, it is called an effective communication. Let's see here typically how communication takes place. Here, a message or communication is sent by the sender to a communication channel to a receiver or to multiple receivers. The sender must encode the message, the information being conveyed, into a form that is appropriate to the communication channel, and the receivers then decode the message to understand its meaning and significance. Misunderstanding can occur at any stage of the communication process. Effective communication involves minimizing the potential misunderstanding and overcoming any barriers to communication at each stage in the communication process. In many communications, the message, what is said, may not be received exactly the way the sender intended. It is therefore important that communicators seek feedback to check that their message is clearly understood. Receivers can also use techniques such as clarification and reflection as effective ways to ensure that the message sent has been understood correctly. What are the common barriers to effective communication? The use of jargons or unfamiliar words, emotional barriers and taboos, lack of attention, interest, distractions or irrelevance to the receiver, differences in perception and viewpoints, physical disabilities such as hearing problems or speech difficulties, physical barriers to non-verbal communication, language differences, and the difficulty in understanding unfamiliar accents, expectations and prejudice which may lead to false assumptions or stereotyping, cultural differences. What are the different types of communication channels? 1. Verbal. 2. Non-verbal means facial or body language. 3. Written. 4. Pitch of voice and tonality. 5. Verbal style or your accent. We communicate throughout the day with the people around us. These people may be part of our family, workplace, neighbors, friends, people in school, college, traffic, shopping places, new locations, business world, etc. etc. So it's very important that we effectively communicate, that our communication will allow ourselves and others to grow and build the relationships. In all these relationships and situations, you will feel more encouraged and confident when you are required to make a decision and the other person gives you enough time to support it, and it's vice versa. Therefore, the true basis of a healthy conversation is mutual respect. Understanding is developed at much later stage when there have been enough number of conversations. Ensure that you are giving the listener enough information and time from your side. Once you start doing this, you will realize a positive difference in your attitude and approach. It's always great to have a conversation with someone who has great communication skills. Not only do you get to open up and express your ideas, you also get to receive new information that may be of significant help. You don't emulate them, but learn from their attitude, learn from the way they speak and address the questions. When both the sender and the receiver perceive the meaning of communication almost in the same way, it's called an effective communication. What are the advantages of an effective communication? The communication skills may be hard to learn, but once you learn and develop, it will start paying for you forever, means lifelong. There are n number of advantages. Building strong trust and integrity, quickly preventing or resolving problems, providing clarity and direction, creates better and better relationships, increased engagement in the relationships, improves productivity and efficiency. All business leaders want a productive team, promotes team building, a positive atmosphere, enhanced loyalty to the company, increased customer satisfaction, getting promotions, managing teams effectively, getting clients, growing your business, you make difference in other lives, you feel happy and proud of you, exponential growth in personal and professional life. Poor communication often occurs when there is a discrepancy between what is said and what is heard. Means the person being communicated to misunderstands what you are communicating to them because understanding is no longer mutual. What are the causes of poor communication? Ego, attitude towards others, be it regarding gender, ethnicity, education, religion, childhood issues they are harboring, cultural clash, ignorance, politics, power and hierarchy, distance and time zones, preconceived judgments, not ready to accept the mistakes caused and apologize. The list is not ending here, and there are still more. What are the common signs of poor communication skills? One-way communication. Poor communicators often feel frustrated that they don't get feedback in meetings, emails, project planning, etc. etc. They present their ideas, explain their plan, and wait for questions or comments, but get nothing. You directives. If you find a large portion of your communication with co-workers, managers, and employees begins with the word you and a directive like are, should, will, etc., words that demand an action from whoever you are communicating with, you may have poor communication skills. Statements like you should have been here an hour ago or you have to do this immediately make people feel like they are being communicated at rather than communicated to. Only negatives. Consider the way you react to ideas presented by others. If your first reaction is to shoot down the idea, you may have poor communication skills. Getting personal, getting angry at, or belittling people. One of the biggest signs of poor communication is focusing on people rather than on problems. Examples would be dismissing a worker as stupid or an idiot for presenting a plan that needs improvement, or calling your employees lazy rather than focusing on specific impediments to better productivity. If you identify a problem and your first thought is to direct a negative personal comment at the person you believe to be the source of the problem, you may need to re-evaluate your communication skills. Disregarding or invalidating feelings. If you are disregarding or invalidating feelings of others, it's the sign of poor communication. Passive aggressiveness and sarcasm. If you find yourself responding with sarcasm or passive aggression in professional and personal communications, you may be doing yourself and whoever you are communicating with a big disservice. Not ready to accept the mistakes and seek apologies for the hurt or mistakes happened as part of communications. Self-centered talks. Not ready to accept the mistakes and beg apologies for the hurt caused. The list is not ending here. There are many more. What are the outcomes of poor communications? Misunderstandings. It happens when the communication is not clear. Missed opportunities. You may lose the opportunities when the communication is not clearly understood. Unnecessary conflict. For example, a lack of communication might cause you to end up doing more work than necessary. The grapevine effect. A lack of communication can lead to rumors. Mistrust. A lack of communication can lead to mistrust in the family or workplace or with the people you interact with, or vice versa. Low morale. A lack of communication can lead to low morale because ineffective communication can create misunderstandings, missed opportunities, and conflicts, stress, frustration, confusion, conflicts, and an extremely tense environment. A lack of communication can lead to stress and frustration in the relationships. A broken relationship. A lack of communication can ultimately lead to broken trust and relationships. Lack of motivation. What are the conditions, elements, and factors of an effective communication? Clear. When writing or speaking to someone, be clear about your goal or message. What's your purpose in communicating with this person? If you are not sure, then your audience won't be sure either. Concise. When you are concise in your communication, you stick to the point and keep it brief. Concrete. When your message is concrete, then your audience has a clear picture of what you are going to tell them. There are details and vivid facts, and there is laser-like focus. Your message is solid. Correct. When your communication is correct, it fits your audience. And correct communication is also error-free communication. Coherent. When your communication is coherent, it's logical. All points are connected and relevant to the main topic, and the tone and flow of the text is consistent. Complete. In a complete message, the audience has everything they need to be informed and, if applicable, take action. Courteous communication is friendly, open, and honest. There are no hidden insults or passive-aggressive tones. You keep your audience viewpoint in mind and you are empathetic to their needs. Credible. Does your message improve or highlight your credibility? This is especially important when you are communicating with an audience that doesn't know much about you. Creative. Does your message communicate creatively? Creative communication helps keep your audience engaged. Persuasiveness. Persuasiveness is an important quality of an effective communication. It helps to develop a positive attitude of the receiver towards the message. Concreteness. Business communication becomes effective when it excludes irrelevant facts. Concreteness is essential to express the communicator's view to the receiver. Feedback. Effective communication always keeps the provision for feedback. Feedback ensures that the message has reached the intended receiver. Mutual interest. When communication considers the interest of both the sender and the receiver, it is treated as an effective communication. If the message ignores the interest of the receiver, the communication may fail to attain its goal. Use of appropriate language. An effective communication always uses appropriate language. Appropriate language avoids ambiguous and complex words, misleading non-verbal cues, technical jargons, poetic words, etc. Considering the receiver. An effective communicator thinks about the receiver's knowledge, ability, interest, origin, etc. This increases the utility and acceptability of the communication. Use of appropriate media. Selecting suitable media is essential for successful communication. The sender should select the written or oral media depending on the nature and importance of the message. Availability of time, cost, receiver's ability, etc. Emphasizing on informal relationship. The communicator requires giving attention to establishing informal relationship with the receiver along with the formal relationships, as it ensures the success of the communication. Effective listening. The communicator is also an effective listener. He has to listen attentively to the response of the receiver. Therefore, the sender should possess the ability to listen to the receiver's response attentively with the due patience. Key points. All of us communicate every day. The better we communicate, the more credibility we will have with our clients, our boss, our colleagues, family, relatives, and neighbors. Use all these points as a checklist for all of your communication. By doing this, you will stay clear, concise, concrete, correct, coherent, complete, and courteous in your communications. This life is a journey, and this body is the vehicle to achieve whatever you want to in your life. In this journey, the time is very precious because it's irreversible for everyone on this planet. Whether we want to or don't want, knowingly or unknowingly, our body exhibits a language which others can easily read, understand, and feel it as what's going on inside a person. Studies have shown that the body language or the non-verbal communication plays a major role in our face-to-face or in-person communications. As per studies, 55% of our communication is of body language. So, it's very important to observe our body language while we communicate with others. According to a report, our face alone is capable of exhibiting over 250,000 signs, and our body can exhibit over 7 lakh signs. Your body postures and gestures have potential to give you power and confidence. Practice good postures and gestures. Don't keep your body closed or compressed. Keep it open and flexible. Don't keep your hands closed at the chest or at the back. Don't keep your fist closed. Don't keep your hands inside your pockets. Try to minimize your palm gestures downward. It shows authority. Let your palms be facing upward. It's also perceived as open body gesture. Upward palm is also the gesture of giving. It's the gesture of being approachable, whereas downward palm is the gesture of suppressing, bossism, authority, etc. People may not receive it well. Our body language should exhibit strong confidence. The correct posture, gestures, and dressing habits or styles give us power to our confidence. Therefore, good postures, gestures, and dressing sense are very important. Examples of positive body language. Positive body language is when your movements and gestures show that you are engaged, interested, approachable, and open. Explore these examples of positive body language and what they communicate to others. Head tilted to one side. This shows you are keen and interested in what is being communicated. Quickly rubbing hands together. This indicates your excitement or anticipation. It can also indicate being cold, so be mindful of this body language. Palms open and facing upward. An open palm is a sign of openness and honesty. Standing straight with the shoulders back. This position shows that a person is feeling confident of himself or herself. You should feel relaxed, tall, and not rigid. Stroking your chin or beard. This is the sign of deep thought. It's done often unintentionally when an individual is trying to come to a decision about a matter. It indicates thoughtfulness and interest. Leaning in. When you want to get closer to someone because you like them, trust them, or are interested in them, you tend to lean your whole body in their direction. It's important not to overlean and invade their space. Good eye contact. Looking someone directly in the eyes shows that you are confident and you trust that person. Unwavering direct eye contact can be read as creepy or scary, so make eye contact when it's necessary and take moments to look away or make indirect eye contact to keep it positive. Head nodding. It acknowledges that you are listening and agreeing with the points being discussed or communicated. Smiling while you nod makes this action even more positive. Firm handshake. A firm but not painful handshake indicates self-confidence and mutual respect. If you reach out for the handshake first, it signals your interest. Keep your body straight. Once you stand straight, you will feel confident because your larger figure demands more attention. Keep your hands out of your pockets, which will bring your shoulders back forward and help you to breathe easily. Keeping the head up. Along with the maintaining an eye contact, you need to keep your head high and your chin forward instead of pointing it to the floor. It will give you a confident body language and you will feel a lot better while facing people. Smile back at people. Smiling at people is also a good way to show a confident body language. When you smile, it gives the other person the confidence to continue with the conversation in a natural manner. It helps others to associate with you more easily and it gives you more confidence to continue. The list is not ending here and there are many more. You can observe and develop your communication skills. Negative body language is often called defensive body language. This is when your movements and gestures show you are insecure, closed off, unapproachable, hostile, or disinterested. Let's see some of negative body gestures and what they communicate to others. Arms crossed over the chest. It indicates the person is very defensive. It also shows that the person disagrees with the opinions or actions of others with whom they are communicating. It also indicates separateness and discomfort. Nail biting. It indicates stress, restlessness, nervousness, or insecurity. People do this unknowingly. Hand placed on cheek. It indicates the person is lost in thoughts or is considering something. Sometimes when hand is on cheek along with the furrowed brow shows deep concentration. A person lost in thoughts will not be paying attention anymore. Tapping or drumming fingers. It's the sign of boredom, growing impatience, or tired of waiting. Touching your nose. It's the sign of disbelief or rejection and being untruthful about what others are saying. Placing your fingertips together. It signals control and authority. Typically, bosses or managers show this sign that they are running the shows. Head in hands. It indicates boredom or the person is upset or ashamed and does not want to show their face. Locked ankles. It can communicate nervousness or apprehension. Pulling your ear. It indicates that the person is attempting to make a decision but remain indecisive. It also shows the inability to come to a conclusion. Fig leaf pose. It indicates uneasy or introverted. Fidgeting with hand or arm accessories. It indicates nervousness or insecurity. It can also indicate boredom. Sitting on the edge of your seat. It signals that you are excited, thrilled, and deeply engaged. Avoidance of eye contact. nervousness, lack of confidence, low self-esteem, or dishonesty. Staring, it makes people uncomfortable and tensed. Overuse of hands, it indicates nervousness, excitement, or mania. Looking at watch, clock, or phone, it indicates boredom, anxiousness, impatience, or future minded. Poor posture, it indicates lack of confidence, unwillingness, lack of ability, unavailability, or boredom. Frowning, it indicates sadness, sympathy, discontent, or anger. Sweating, it indicates nervousness. Hands behind back, it indicates that person is mistrustful, secretive, not open, and rigid. Clenched fist, it indicates anger or aggressiveness. The list is not ending here, there are many more. Listen more and more. God has given us one tongue and two ears. What does it mean? What it means is we need to talk less and listen more. What are the advantages of listening? It has lot of advantages. You can learn from other persons. You can respond to the person based on what he or she talks to you than imposing your own stuff. He or she will feel important for you. How to listen more and more? The answer is practice, practice, practice. Whenever your mind drifts to the past or future, bring it back with conscious effort and listen more. Being a good communicator requires the ability to sit back and listen in a way that invites conversation. Be conscious of leaving space and time for the input, feedback, and reflection from the other people. Don't present your ideas like final one. This is how it is, and there are no possible alternatives. This manner will break the communication and it will spoil everything thereafter. Listen more and more. Remember, we learnt our mother tongue only through listening. What are the good qualities of an effective communication? If you don't have these qualities, don't worry. There is a good news. You can learn and develop these qualities at any time, just like building a muscle. Firstly, let's see what are the good qualities. In conversations or talks, first you receive the persons with full energy. Be comfortable with uncomfortable situations and people. How to do it? Practice, practice, practice. You need to daily practice it by doing at least one scary thing that you actually don't want to do. Speaking up. You need to speak up your ideas, thoughts, emotions, feelings, etc. with others. Don't wait for the perfection. Just start. It's a journey. You will become better and better. Being honest with yourself. You should know what you don't know and you should know what you know. Having confidence. You will have that confidence when you have burning desire, burning fire inside you. It's strong urge to accomplish what you want to achieve. Then your entire focus will be on your mission. So when you are 100% focused on what you want to get, you will have that confidence automatically inside you. Discover your burning fire inside you. When you have that undeterred confidence inside you, you will become unstoppable. You will get connected with the universe and you will get ways to achieve your mission. It's not about your abilities or strategies that takes you through your mission. It's your confidence takes you through your mission. When you have that confidence, you will see as opportunities when other persons are seeing as problems. When others are seeing as stumbling block, you will see it as stepping stone. Confidence is the single most thing you may have to develop first. How? Practice, practice, practice. The more you focus on it, more you practice it, you will develop it as muscle. Do it as daily practice, daily ritual. You are going to grow it. Listen more and talk less. Understand persons and people first. Managing your time. There is a study which says that we spend 80% of our daily time with the things that we are not supposed to do, and we spend 20% or less of our time with the things we are born to do. We need to flip this. What does it mean? What it means is at least 80% of our time we should do the things that we are created to do. Stop whining. Do not whine, criticize, complain or blame. Staying in present moment. If you live in the mind, your mind will either go to past or future. If you live in the past, that's going to create more sadness. If you live in the future, it will create more anxiety. The present is our treasure, where the gold is. There is a super connectivity between your happiness and you living in the present moment. A lot of people believe that their happiness is tied to the things they are going to happen to you. Not so at all. But the question is, how can you be in present moment? For that, you need to orient your thoughts to only present moment. Practice, practice, practice. How to practice? The moment you get distracted, the moment you start worrying, the moment you drift to the past or future, you consciously catch yourself and bring your focus back to present. Again, practice, practice, practice. Being consistent. Success is not the destination, it's the journey. Success should be the part of our daily activities. Getting enough sleep, being compassionate, practicing powerful postures and gestures, practice positive impact, practice confidence, connect with people and grow. Let's see what else are required for an effective communication. If you can connect with others, one on one, in groups, and with an audience, your sense of community improves, your ability to create teamwork increases, and your influence skyrockets. Your honesty pays you forever. Always be clear and straightforward. Authenticity, being true to who and what you are. Being authentic starts with knowing who you are and being in touch with yourself in the moment. Integrity means wholeness. Integrity means following your moral and ethical convictions and doing the right thing in all circumstances, even if no one is watching you. Having integrity means you are true to yourself and would do nothing that demeans or dishonors you. Here, love means it's not romantic love. It's receiving and wishing everyone well wholeheartedly. If you are really receiving and wishing well, then you will not be judgmental about people. You will be open and flexible. In any conversations, when you meet someone for the first time or later, the people are asking three questions. 1. Who are you? 2. What do you have? 3. Why should I care for you? Because any communications, trust is required. Confidence is required. Your ability to tell your story, who are you and what do you have? Your ability to communicate in a way that will connect you with people, in a way that will expand their minds, in a way you touch their hearts, in a way that will cause them to say, this is the person that I want to put my trust. There is a law of paying price. What does it mean? It means on this planet, nothing comes free of price. If you work at it, you will get it. Nothing is free. Your sincere efforts, hard work, getting out of your comfort zone, dedication, to be ready to take any challenge, brushing yourself hard in the practical field. These are all hard to do, but once you do them, it will pay you forever. Till here, we were trying to understand the concepts, tricks, and tips for an effective communication. Hereafter, let's try to practically understand how an effective communication should be. Let's try to understand what we shouldn't do while communicating with ourselves and with others. This is something like a sculptor removes unwanted portions of the stone or rock and creates a beautiful idol out of it. Similarly, if you come to know and practice what shouldn't be there in our communications, you will automatically become a great communicator. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools speak because they have to say something. Remember, silence is also an effective communication when it is apt. Now the question is, what qualities will work as setbacks when you want to be an effective communicator? 1. Trying to please everyone or some people. You may be labeled as a nice man, but there is a risk of you ending up in slavery. 2. You try to talk more and more because you feel void inside in your deepest core. So you want to control or conclude the conversation. 3. You don't have any matter to talk, but you still do because you want to say something. 4. You don't have specific points to discuss, but you want to control or interfere the conversations. 5. Trying to talk known things or self-centered talks. Now the question is, if you are jealous of others' progress, will it affect your communications? Yes, it is. 6. Communications with prejudice will not help. 7. Trying to talk on things which will not change. Now the question is, will your negative self-talk affect your communications? Yes, it will. You will not be able to create good, honest feelings. 8. Trying to talk or control others' talks. 9. Trying to hold on to the things which are not in your control. 10. Trying to talk on things where you don't have any influence. 11. trying to talk with lengthy, vague sentences and words. Nobody wants to pay attention if there is nothing for him or her to take away. 12. Trying to build only your power, control, and impact. 13. Holding nervous, less confident communication. 14. No clear contents or clarity. 15. Worried about self or how it's going to be perceived or received. 16. The entire focus is on self, not on the delivery of the contents or the messages. 17. You are holding an income and impact focused communication. 18. There is no energy in the person communicating. Remember, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned about 3 practical examples. Let's try to understand these situations in detail. Let's take an example to understand this better. In your life, you would have observed when some people enter the place, you feel like 1000 watts bulb intensity, and you are very happy to spend any number of hours with them. Let's take another example wherein you are talking to a gentleman, neatly dressed, polished shoes, and very confident and excellent in English and excellent personality, but you still don't want to continue spending time with him. Is he not an effective communicator? What is missing here? Another example. In the street, there are lots of shops with the same items you want to purchase, but you still prefer to go to only certain shops. Why? Let's take another example wherein you want to avoid talking to some people, or you don't want to spend any time with them. Let's take this example in detail. In this case, why do you think you don't want to spend any time with them? If you analyze the reasons, then it will be easy for you to avoid such behaviors in your communications. By implementing these, you will automatically become an effective communicator. Now, let's try to understand the reasons. Why do you think you don't want to spend time with some people? What are the reasons? 1. They talk senseless and meaningless. 2. Their talk is very annoying. 3. They are not within the context of discussion. 4. They are too eager to talk. 5. They listen less or they don't want to listen. 6. They don't want to understand others. 7. They are too eager to tell their stories. 8. They talk without understanding the points or context of the talk or discussion. 9. They don't ask genuine questions. 10. Their questions will be like interrogation. 11. They ask judgmental questions. 12. They are prejudiced. 13. They do forcing, dominating, intimidating talks. 14. Their conversations are related to their past glory. 15. They are not convincible or they are not sharing. 15. They don't know how to listen. 16. There is no energy in the person talking to you. Probably these are the reasons which are going to help you to understand what you can do to become an effective communicator. People don't know how to listen because everybody wants to talk and wants to be understood first. Without understanding the context, if we talk in between, it's going to be idiotic. So such persons' communications are also idiotic. How to listen? The answer is hidden in the word listen itself. What's the answer? If you reshuffle the letters in the word listen, you will get the word silent. What does it mean? To listen, you need to be silent. You cannot listen unless and until you are silent. If you practice to listen, there will be a greater chance that you will understand the other person. If you understand the person, then you will think and talk to that person. Your depth of understanding the context of the discussion will be better and better. Then there will be energy in the talks. If there is energy in the talks, your counterpart will listen to you. Eventually, it is going to be an effective communication. Now the question is, can anyone listen to other person by default automatically? What is required for a person to listen to another? The answer is interest. Let's say that you are interested in someone's talks. Will you listen to that person or not? When you have interest in the talks, you will automatically make that communication effective. But when do you get interest in any talks? When do you listen to anyone with the same interest and involvement? In today's world, you just see rat race. Everyone is chasing money and wealth. Money has become everything because it brings you all the pleasures, facilities and comfort on this earth. So, you are interested in the talks where there are benefits or money is involved. When you are money oriented, your entire focus will be on earnings. Wherever you go, whatever conversations you get into. Money, money, money. You see only money everywhere. You will have less focus on learning in all the talks, conversations you get into, because your entire focus is on earning. So you knowingly or unknowingly cultivate the habit of not listening. After all, the habit is a habit. So you become only talkative and less interested in another person's emotions or feelings. Eventually, you will never connect to the other person, other people in true sense. In today's world, you can see everywhere earning attitude. When you don't have earning attitude, you will be automatically in learning attitude. When your nature becomes learning from everything, then you are going to learn every moment from everything you see, listen, observe, touch, read, etc. Your observations will become deeper and deeper. You will start feeling what you observe. Your feelings will become deeper and deeper. This is real growth. But in today's world, growth is counted based on how much wealth you have accumulated. But if you are with only earning attitude, you will always think about money and try to exploit the situations, conversations, and people to use them for your benefits. So, when you are with earning attitude, is there any scope for effective communications? No. So, effective communications entirely depends upon your attitude towards life and nothing else. It doesn't depend on how much knowledgeable you are on communications, what degrees and certificates you hold in effective communications, because knowing is different from doing. If you do certain actions repeatedly, then it becomes your habit. Repeated habit becomes behavior, and eventually behavior forms your personality. So talking sweet words may not make you an effective communicator, because people can easily understand whether it's a fake conversation or genuine conversation. So you need to decide who you want to be. You may have to ask yourself, are you really interested in solving other person's challenges? Want to help others? Because nobody wants to listen to you until you care for them and genuinely listen to them. So, what is really required for an effective communication? Have interest, become silent, listen, understand, and then feel. Then you will really connect with that person. This connect should be true and genuine. Actually, this connect leads to acceptance. Then you decide, do you need to talk or continue silence and further listen? Before you open your mouth, you have to think. In the word think, each letter has some special meaning, like T stands for truth. Am I talking truth? H stands for will it be helpful? I stands for will it be inspiring? N stands for is it necessary for me to talk? K stands for am I kind enough? Am I holding kind and sincere talks? If you get the answer as yes, then you can speak or talk. Otherwise, you can keep silence. Silence is also an effective communication when it's apt. Silence is extremely powerful. Wise men speak because they have something to say. Fools speak because they have to say something. In conversations or talks, first you receive the person with full energy. What are really required for an effective communication? 1. Your excellent energy in the communications. In conversations or talks, first you receive the person or people with full energy. 2. Your posture and gesture. 3. Your personality and appearance. In reality, we are all working from the mind and with the minds. The mind sees the personality and appearance through eyes and ears and tries to build trust, credibility based on the facts it has seen, read through eyes and heard or listened through ears. The conscious mind is also good at judging others based on the facts it has received. So, your personality, how you appear, how you are dressed, how you come across influence the other people a lot. There is a saying, first impression is the best impression. Why? Because when the mind sees for the first time, there are no prejudice, and the mind takes a fresh look at and then registers and stores what it judges by the time. Thereafter, it is going to be long-lasting memory, and this memory will pop up as a filter whenever the mind sees the same person next time. 4. Your pitch of voice and tonality. 5. Word selection depends on your vocabulary, state of mind, and your practice. 6. Your confidence. You will have a strong confidence when you don't have expectations from other people and not worried about the outcome of the connects. Means your connection will not be just based on your focused goals or expectations, or your focus is on building connections or relationships. 7. practice brief and concise talk. For an effective communication, you need to genuinely 100% engage with the talks, and thereafter you can connect and influence the other persons. So if you neglect any of these, then your communications will not be effective. Who knows you depends on how much you can influence. Who you are depends on your personality and appearance. Our entire education system is building you on what you are and little bit on who you are. After your education, you get some jobs and work there or different companies for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, knowing what you are and not knowing who you are. Our education system does not teach us to know who we are, the life skills, how to build influence, how to build true personality. But studies have shown that most successful career and life are built on building influence and personality. 85% of our success comes from our personality, our ability to engage, our ability to connect, influence, lead, and negotiate. Only 15% of success comes from our education. What it means is you spend 10 years, 15 years on what you do and no time for developing your influence and personality. Is it called success? In this mode, you are guaranteeing your own failures. Your communications will be more effective and long-lasting with the recipients or audience memory if you have added your art of storytelling and arousing the curiosity with the apt emotions. Thank you for watching this video. Keep watching our videos. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. Wishing you all the best.